And now, live from Laurel, Maryland, USA, home of Henry's Adult Bookstore and Peep Show, it's snack time.
Dear Snackboy, what is your worst waiting tables experience? Signed, Nicole from Belgium. Well, Nicole, my worst waiting table story is not really a story about waiting tables at all. My worst waiting tables experience was more about, well, let's just let the snack tell you that. All right, I was working in Union Station in Washington, D.C., and all the waitstaff couldn't believe it because one of the perks I found about my job as a waiter, one of the things I loved about it the most, one of the most exciting parts of my job was free food, people. And I'm not talking about the free food you get after you work your lunch shift or before you work your dinner shift. I'm talking about free food, the kind of food that the people don't finish. That's right. I'm now older and wiser and a little bit ashamed, just a little bit ashamed to say that back in the day of waiting tables, I would clear the tables. Was everything good? Can I take your plate? And I would take it to the back, to the kitchen, and I would sneak and eat after the people. It was a gross practice, but at the time, I was in heaven. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. The best was when they would only eat like half of their chicken quesadilla. And of course, there'd be, yes, I know there'd be bite marks in it, and, you know, people spit and drool. But I just loved a slightly cold, slightly used chicken quesadilla. You know, maybe it wasn't healthy, maybe it wasn't clean, but it was so good. And if they'd had most of their calamari, but had a little left over, you don't even know how I was full of ecstasy. And the best was dessert time. They'd order the dessert, and I'd fill them up on coffee on purpose so they couldn't eat their whole dessert. And if their cake was half chewed up, but there was still a little bit of the good icing left, yes, people, I took that to the back, and I consumed that cake. I ate it, and I loved it. My fellow waitstaff, the restaurant was called America, and my fellow waitstaff were horrified. They're like, Terry, I cannot believe. No, we cannot believe you're doing this. There are germs, Terry. That is disgusting. Ew. They were really, really, really grossed out and shocked that I would dare eat after people. But come on. I mean, bear with me for 1 second. Think about it. Think of all that free food going to waste. When you think of those starving little children in China, wait a minute. Where are the starving children? Where are the starving children from the commercials where they're like, for 75 cents a day? When you think of those starving children, it would have been a crime for me not to have eaten that cake. I would have been doing the wrong thing. I would have been throwing away when other people are so in need. And you might be saying to yourself, but Snackboy, weren't there any repercussions? Well, yes, unfortunately there were. Ladies and gentlemen, hepatitis. That's right, yours truly caught hepatitis from eating after other people's partially consumed food. It all started the day when my pee turned bright, bright yellow, and I, full of jaundice, eyes just yellow aglow, filled a toilet bowl, and I kind of noticed the first time when I took a leak, you know what I mean? I looked down that toilet bowl, and it was bright fluorescent yellow. And I'm not talking the yellow you get from soda, from soft drinks, from Coca-Cola, boys and girls. I am talking jaundice, highlighter yellow. And, I mean, my skin turned yellow, and then everyone was just mortified. Let me tell you why. They said, Terry, you couldn't even get a sexual disease from sex. You had to get it from food. Yes, people. The people weren't so much horrified that I got, you know, a disease, hepatitis. They were more offended that I couldn't even get it in an interesting way. And I remember as I lay there in the hospital and looked out the window, the waitstaff who had made fun of me earlier came to visit. And they all came in my room and they sung a little song, and it went like this. And this is true. For he is a jaundiced good fellow, for he's a jaundiced good fellow, for nobody can deny. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever caught a sexual disease but didn't catch it in a sexual way, write to Snackboy, and I can promise you your story will make it to the air. I'm a little touched today, a little moved, Oh, I'll tell you.